Two teams that figure to battle it out for playoff positioning later on down the line in the Western Conference meet up on a Tuesday night at the Rose Garden. This is Across the Board with Jeff Grant here at SBRforum.com. We have the Dallas Mavericks versus the Portland Trail Blazers. Blazers opened up as 2.5-point home favorites, total at 201.5. When you look at the Mavericks, they are playing their best basketball of the season. Not very surprising, with Dirk Nowitzki getting more and more minutes on the floor. They've won 6 of their last 8 games. That includes a convincing 110-95 victory over the Phoenix Suns as 8-point home favorites. And the over is 6-1-1 during that 8-game span. The only losses in that group, San Antonio Spurs and Oklahoma City Thunder. Those are the two top teams, in my opinion, in the Western Conference. When you look at the Mavericks, they shot a season-high 61.5% in their first meeting against the Blazers. That resulted in a 114-91 victory as 4-point home favorites, and they did that without Nowitzki on the floor. The Mavericks have won 24 of the last 32 regular season meetings in this series. From a sports betting trend perspective, the Mavericks are 14-5 against the spread as a road underdog of 3 points or less since the 2010 campaign, but it's virtually a wash when you look at the Blazers coming in with the 12-5-1 ATS mark as home favorites of 3 points or less. The Mavericks are really rolling offensively. I think that's one of the differences in this game. They've scored 100-plus points in their last 8 games, and they've had 5 players score at least 10 or more points during that 8-game span, and they've received at least 55 points from their bench in the last 2 contests. Once again, I think that's a key statistic and a key category to handicap when looking at this game. When you look at the Blazers, they are in one of the more interesting scheduling stretches that I've seen in the NBA this year. They're coming off a home-and-home series against the Los Angeles Clippers, with each team taking care of things on their home court. And then after this game, they're going to play another back-to-back situation against the Utah Jazz in a similar setting, a home-and-home. They're going to travel to Salt Lake and then come back to Portland. They are receiving just 16.5 points per game from their bench this year. And as we head into the All-Star break, this team's going to start getting tired. Damian Lillard, their star rookie, basically the rookie of the year already, because Anthony Davis hasn't performed up to the potential that he could possibly play at New Orleans. But Damian Lillard and some of these players are going to start getting worn down, and I think that's going to be the case in this one. They were outscored by a 31-12 margin in the first meeting against the Mavericks, just to show that the fact that the Mavericks do have a deeper bench. Even now, with Nowitzki in the starting lineup, they're able to go even deeper into that bench. The previous 3 meetings before the first series meeting this year has been decided by 3 points or less, so that is important to note. 2 of those games going to overtime. The Blazers are still led by their all-star forward, LaMarcus Aldridge. He's tied for the NBA lead with 10 double-doubles during the month of January, and Aldridge has done some of his best work against the Mavericks in his career, especially over the last 5 games, averaging 27 points in that period. Live betting, also prop betting, a very interesting statistic to monitor when watching this game on Tuesday night. The Blazers are 9-0 at the Rose Garden when leading after the first quarter. But the Dallas Mavericks, even though they have one of the worst road records in the Western Conference and the entire NBA, they've actually outscored opponents on average in the first 12 minutes away from the Lone Star State, while the Portland Trail Blazers have been outscored at home over the entire course of the season in the first 12 minutes of play. One of the main reasons I'm going to pick the Dallas Mavericks plus 2.5 against the Portland Trail Blazers on Tuesday night. For any further information on this game or any other on the NBA board, you can follow me on Twitter at Jeff Grant Sports. This has been another edition of Across the Board with Jeff Grant here at SBRforum.com.